Camerounais, Camerounais, mes chers compatriotes, il y a quelques années, j'avais indiqué que le septennat en cours.
I look at our leaders. When you ring them, their phones are picked by somebody called a PA, whose only claim to fame that he is rude beyond measure. They acquire things which they have not worked for. They want to be described as honorable even when they are horrible. These are the men that we have. And there is no shortage of such men and women in the African continent. They promise us things that they know they will never deliver, and we believe them.
Imagine having a president that looks like he has not eaten for days. What's all this? Can a European nation can a European nation just colonize Cameroon again? If you have a Cameroonian friend, hug them tight. They are going through a lot. Look at what will be representing Cameroonians in
Africa is rising. I mean, even by seeing the face of Ibrahim Traore in our introduction video, you already know that Africa is taking the shape that we all want. But still, our politics are stuck in the past. And today, Africa is more wants to look at the elections that are coming in some of the African countries. I mean, I'm talking from Malawi to Cameroon, from Uganda to cotedivoire, and Tanzania, because those are the elections that are really coming so soon. And what has struck me on the countries that I've mentioned is that there are some old dinosaurs who have refused to let go of power. I mean, we all know them and we'll talk about them in some few minutes, because in their countries, they have created weak democracy and they have crushed, the weight over the people's decision or the people's mandate. And they've ensured that their greed has continued to take control in their respective countries. So the big question today is, why do African leaders refuse to leave office? I mean, being in a leadership position for 20 years, yet no single change. And what does this mean actually for the future of our continent? Because we're saying, if you want new ideas, if you want new independence, if you want new revolutions, the old has to go. But the old has refused to go. Before we start off with Malawi, I want you to take 3 seconds of this video to just hit on that subscribe button and also hit on that notification bar so that anytime we do a video, you are able to be notified. Malawi is at a crossroad. The nation is actually preparing for elections which are going to happen on 16th September. But the shocking reality is the former president, Peter Mutharika, now 85 years old, is seeking a comeback. The big question remains, will Malawians elect him, and will he bring any new vision to Malawian? What difference will he make that he didn't do while he was, a president? And this continues to raise a question, what kind of vision can an 85-year-old leader bring to a young, struggling nation? We know how Malawi faces deep poverty. I mean, Malawi is among the top-rated poor African countries because, Malawi faces deep poverty, high unemployment, and fragile institutions. Yet, instead of fresh leadership, the cycle of, recycling the old dinosaurs or the old leaders still continues. Many Malawians feel disillusioned. They're asking themselves, is this kind of democracy that they really want? And asking if their democracy is only a game of political, musical chairs where the same faces keep on coming back while the people continue to suffer. Okay, we will keep an eye on Malawi to see if they will elect again their 85-year-old dinosaur. You thought Malawi was shocking, then you better hold up, because Cameroon also have elections coming in October 12th. And the situation in Cameroon is even worse, because we're talking now about Paul Biya, who has been in power since 1982. I mean, that is how many years? 40 something years, 43 years in power. And Paul Biya is currently 92 years old and still unwilling to step down.
Camerounais, Camerounais, mes chers compatriotes, il y a quelques années, j'avais indiqué que le septennat en cours devait être décisif, dans la mesure où il permettrait à notre pays de poursuivre résolument sa marche vers l'émergence. Le gouvernement a par ailleurs poursuivi les efforts de redressement et de transformation structurelle de notre économie à travers l'opérationnalisation progressive des zones économiques.
Imagine this. Biya has ruled for over 42 years. That is the longest than any, most, let's not even talk about the president, but most Cameroonians have been alive. 42 years is quite a huge number. Even the current generation haven't been able to see their new president. Under his leadership, Cameroon has continuously gone down to the trenches, drowning in corruption, human rights abuses, and conflicts, especially in the Anglophone regions. Yet elections are just formality. Because why? Biya's regime has mastered the art of, rigging the system, silencing opponents, and using fear to control the masses. For many, Biya represents the perfect image of Africa's leadership crisis. Leaders who see power not as a service, but as a lifetime entitlement. Oh God, 92 years old. That's a real dinosaur. And still, we are waiting to see if Cameroon will be able to elect their 92-year-old president. Shockingly, we've had different cases of, leaders who have been coming out in Cameroon. And one that got my attention was also another old generation trying to vie for the presidency.
Et après, je suis revenu, on m'a ramené à l'administration territoriale pour servir des élections.
My fellow Africans, these are the candidates going in for the presidential election in Cameroon 2025. These are the candidates going for the presidential election in Cameroon 2025. Looking at them, I can tell you, Tinubu is very handsome. Yes, what is this? What is this? If you see us electing the same old man who is in power right now, don't open your mouth, because we cannot afford to have the most ugliest president in Africa. We have insulted Nigerians enough that Tinubu is ugly. Imagine after insulting Nigerians that Tinubu is ugly, and we elect this. We elect one of these to be our president. What is this? What type of embarrassment is this? Imagine having a president that looks like he wants to do a comedy skit. Imagine having a president that looks like he has not eaten for days. What's all this? Can a European nation just colonize Cameroon again? If you have a Cameroonian friend, hug them tight. They are going through a lot. Look at what will be representing Cameroonians in
But the good thing is, there's also another young generation who have, announced that they want to stand and make a difference in Cameroon. And we can't wait to see who will Cameroon elect.
What's the motivation?
Bringing change, as I said, a political offer which is based on our culture, on our values. I think that now is the time for the new generation of Cameroonians to take ownership on our destiny.
Wondering who our next dinosaur might be? Well, I want you to take 3 seconds of this video to just hit on that subscribe button, and also hit on that notification bar so that anytime we do a video, you're able to be notified. So let's head over to West Africa, Ivory Coast, and the same movie is still playing along, where the old generation have said that they still want to come back to power and they don't want to step out. Alassane Ouattara, now 83 years old, is once again clinging to, staying to power. Despite promising in the past not to run again, Ouattara changed the constitution to allow himself another term.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I have just submitted my candidacy file to the Independent Electoral Commission for the presidential election of October 25, 2025. I did so in response to the call of my party, the RHDP, and the call of many Ivorians. It hopes that we will continue together on the path of peace, stability and development that our country has been experiencing for several years. In this regard, I would like to thank the strong mobilization of our compatriots who insisted on being present this morning for this important stage of the electoral process. Beyond an administrative act, the gesture that I have just made is also a reminder to everyone that we must submit with humility and respect to the institutions of the Republic. My candidacy is therefore in line with this spirit of responsibility and respect for the rule of law. I would like to appeal to all our compatriots. Let us advocate for peace, remain courteous in the debate and remember that Côte d'Ivoire is above each of us. I thank the people of Côte d'Ivoire for their trust and I hope that this election will take place in peace and serenity for the consolidation of our democracy and the future of our beautiful country. Thank you.
Not so new in Africa. These are the things that we are so used to. This actually sparked, a lot of anger and rage and division across the nation. But he's still standing strong, saying that he is still going to fight. Côte d'Ivoire people are young, innovative, and full of energy, and they've made some good strides. But their politics still remain locked in the hands of an aging elite who fear to give up power. This has not only, stunted democracy, but it's also robbed the youth the opportunity to shape up their own future. To many Africans, Ouattara's presidency is just another case of leaders serving the West's interest while ignoring the cries of their own people. So, to the youth of Ivory Coast, to the citizens of Ivory Coast, are you going to elect Ouattara? We can wait and see because the elections are coming on 29th of November this year. Well, you better start warming up because now we are headed to the country of Mzee, or if you like it, the country of the old man. I mean, Uganda. Uganda's Yoweri Museveni, now 80 years old, has been in power since 1986. I mean, that's nearly 40 years. While many credit him for bringing a sense of stability in Uganda and occasionally championing for Pan-Africanism because he's a very true and honest African man, the truth still remains that Museveni has overstayed his welcome in power. I mean, it's time to let go, of which he had decided not to let it go. Uganda is a nation full of young, vibrant people, yet their future is still tied down by a leader who has been in charge for nearly 40 years. Instead of grooming new leaders like Bobi Wine and ensuring that smooth democratic transition happens, Museveni has actually dismantled the term limits and cracked it down on any opposition. And we know what he has been doing with Bobi Wine, who has been very critical, and the likes of Kizza Besigye, who is now even in prison and have never been released. Those who turned against Museveni. Uganda is now turned into his personal empire, and we don't know, now being 80 years, maybe he might turn up to 100 years. We never know if he'll still be alive.
Love Uganda, love Kenya, love Tanzania. But secondly, Uganda is not enough. Soko ya Uganda haitoshi. That's how we talk of our second principle is Pan-Africanism. Love Africa. Why? Because you need it. You need it for your prosperity. And principle number 3 of our movement is socio-economic transformation. Changing the culture, becoming the modern people. And then strategic security. The Americans are talking of 4-dimensional superiority. That they want to be superior on land, superior in the air, superior at sea, and superior in space. To have capacity to suppress anybody using those 4 dimensions. For us, we are just sitting here. We don't even know what's happening even in the ocean, we don't know. Tunaishia pale Mombasa. What's happening is deep in the ocean, hatuna macho ya kuangalia huko. We don't know what is happening on the moon. The Americans have been to the moon. The Russians have been there. The Chinese have been there. The Indians have gone now. For us, we are here. So, such fight, this is really very worrying. So that's why when His Excellency Ruto invited me to come, I can't miss Christmas, just eating meat. I said, I'm coming. If East Africans have got together, I'm coming to warn them that if you don't wake up, don't say that the elders didn't tell you.
Yes, Museveni sometimes speaks boldly about Africa's independence from Western control, and we know he was a soldier and he helped Uganda fight that and bring back their power. But how can true liberation come when power is concentrated in one man's hand for decades? Well, that's for me to leave it to Ugandans. So will they elect Museveni again, or will change come to Uganda this time? Let's wait, because Uganda's election is coming earlier next year. Well, the other African country to have election this year is Tanzania, and they have the election coming on 29th of October. Unlike the others, Tanzanian issue isn't about now age or having old leaders, but it's about party dominance. And you've heard about CCM, the ruling party, Chama Pinduzi. It has maintained its grip power since independence of Tanzania. And this coming election is nothing different, because only Samia Suluhu, who is the current president of Tanzania, who took over after the death of Magufuli, who has been cleared to run. I mean, what do I mean? At the moment, it's only Samia Suluhu who has been cleared to run, to mean that she doesn't have any opposition. But we know what has happened in Tanzania, because we've known the like of Chadema party, how the opposition leader has been frustrated not to even to stand strong or even to get the time to be clear to run for the election. This raises a serious red flag, especially for democracy in Tanzania. If elections are supposed to give people a choice, how can it be fair when there is only one serious candidate or one serious party? Many fear Tanzania is siding into an era. I mean, they're going into an era where they're having more of controlled democracy, where opposition, is silenced, and it reaches to a point where they only have one candidate at the ballot box and one party at the ballot box. The youth of Tanzania are way silent, but we know they are very creative, determined, and eager to drive change. But are they glued to CCM with all this frustration, especially for Tundu Lissu and the opposition of Chadema party, to a point of where they don't have any other person being allowed to vie? I mean, how will they have a voice if they are living in a controlled democracy? This is something that we're waiting to see, because the election is coming in 29th October. Let's hope that maybe they'll have cleared an opposition member so that we can have at least some sort of freely election and not a monopoly where only one party decides who rule. So any Tanzanians in the comment, you can tell me who are you going to vote for. The big question is a wind up is, why can't African leaders let it go? I mean, tell me in the comment section, why do you believe African leaders, especially these who have been in power for the longest time, don't want to let it go? Here's the painful truth. Africa is the youngest continent in the world. I mean, we are averaging it around 19 years per se, but our leadership is always from 40 years plus. Why are we having the oldest and most recycled leaders? I mean, I call them dinosaurs today because I feel like they're sticking for many years and they're holding our democracy back, they're holding our development back, they're holding our innovation back. Africa's progress to the right place is not taking order just because we have puppets who still stand for the global stage. The question is not just about age, it's about vision. It's about, whether Africa will continue to be ruled by men who refuse to step aside, or whether new leaders will rise to carry forward the dream of Agenda 2063, where a peaceful, prosperous, and united Africa. This time has come to say it boldly. Africa's youth must take the driver's seat. The future cannot be delayed by these dinosaurs. That brings me to the end of this video. I mean, if you found this video impactful, I want you to take 3 seconds of this video to just hit on that subscribe button and also to hit on that notification bar so that anytime I do a video, you're able to be notified. Until next time, I leave you with one of our greatest words.
I'm a great believer in unity. I believe in the old adage, unity is strength. I mean, this is truly, it is strength. And the human race would be much stronger if we were united. We would get rid of a lot of problems in the world if we could be united. And therefore, the human race must move towards unity. And continents like mine, a country like Tanzania must move towards greater unity, continents must move towards greater unity, and the human race must move towards unity.
It's African Union now. There is no time to waste. We must unite or we perish.